Alright, so today we're going to talk about decimals. We're going to go over how to make multiplication with two decimals a lot easier. I suppose you could even use this for multiplication with a single decimal number. Any equation that has a decimal number, this will probably be useful in evaluating that. So we're going to start by giving ourselves two decimal numbers. Let's go with 80 or 8.4, and we're going to give ourselves then 1.2, or you know what, let's go 2.4, 2.5. Great. Okay, so we have 8.4 times 2.5, and how we're going to make this easier to solve than just going about it by maybe multiplying 8 times 2.5, then doing 0.4 times 2.5, or doing 8.4 times 2 plus 8.4 times 0.5 or whatever. What we'll instead do is turn this into a whole number equation. We'll make this into two whole numbers, multiply those, which is going to be a lot easier, and then come back after the fact and handle the decimal stuff at that point. So let's start by turning these into two whole numbers. And how are we going to do that? Easy. We're going to take 8.4 to turn it into 84 by just moving that decimal point 1 to the right. 84.0, 84, 84 point, however you want to call it, times 2.5 point. We're going to move that decimal again to the right. So now we have two whole numbers. Perfect. Now we're going to multiply these whole numbers, which again is going to be a lot easier than multiplying two decimals and manipulating the decimal while you're making these, while you're manipulating the other numbers, while you're multiplying the numbers. So we have 84 times 25. We could do long multiplication if we were using paper. We could also do it on the computer, but I don't like trying to do long multiplication on the computer. So we'll just do it in our heads. 84 times, we can turn this into 84 times 10 times 2 plus 84 times 5. So to start, we're going to do 84 times 2. That's going to be, we're going to turn that into 80 times 2 plus 4 times 2. That's going to be 160 plus 8, 168. 168. Then we're going to multiply that by 10, which is going to be 1,680. Now we're going to take 840 or 84 and divide it by 2, multiply it by 10 to get our 84 times 5. So that becomes 84 divided by 2 is 42 times 10 is 420. Okay, so 1,680 plus 420. That was not intentional. I didn't pre-plan these numbers, but it is going to be 1,680. 1,680 plus 400 is 2,080. plus 20 is 2,100. Let's verify this. 1,680 times 4 plus 420, 2,100. Perfect. So now we have our whole number of 2,100. Now is where we get to the decimal related things we're going to do. So we've moved the decimals out of all of these numbers, out of both of these numbers, and now we want to bring them back. In order to do that, we're going to take our original numbers, 8.4 and 2.5, and we're going to ask ourselves, how did we turn these into whole numbers? Well, we moved the decimal point to the right a number of times. We moved it to the right once. For 84, we moved it to the right once again for 25. Now we're going to undo that by taking the number of times we move the decimal to the right, and now moving it to the left in the product of our whole numbers. So this 2,100. So let's see. We moved the decimal to the right once here. We moved it to the right once here. So that's in total 2 moves to the right. Now we're going to move it 2 to the left in our whole number. So we move it once, 210. Move it once more to make 2, 21. 21.00 is our number, is our product. The product of 8.4 time and 2.5. And let's verify. So you can see I've done this 2 times. I did a demo video. There's a demo without recording, and then I did a video with it. The video didn't go so well because I actually made a miscalculation and looked really silly at the end. Hopefully we come out with the right number this time. 8.4, 2.5, multiply that, 21. Excellent. And you can do this with any number that you want. You can do it whether the decimals are, whether you have numbers, whether you have 2 numbers to the right of the decimal in one number and then 1 number to the right in another place. All you got to do is make sure to move that decimal back to the left the same number of times. So let's take another example. We're going to speed through this one. We're not going to do any slow calculation for this one. We're just going to run it through the calculator, but we're going to prove that this works. So let's take 7.936, and then we're going to take 2.4. And then we're going to take, we'll do 0.63. Okay, so we have 3 numbers here. We're going to turn these into whole numbers. We're going to move the decimal to the right 3 times for that first number. 7.936. Okay, so we've moved it to the right. Three times. We're going to move it to the right 1 time for 2.4 to make it 24. Then we're going to move it to the right 2 times for 0.63 to make it 63. Okay. Now we're going to multiply these. Boom, boom. Okay, that's a large number. We have, let's see, looks like we have 11,999,233. That's a large number. Our actual product is probably a lot less than that. So we're going to move it to the, oh, I see I made a typo here. Okay. Move it 2 times to make it 63. So we're going to take our number here and we're going to move it to the right in total 3 plus 1 plus 2 times, so 6 times. So we're going to move it to the left 6 times, I mean. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 999,232. In other words, 12. So let's see if we can get somewhere close to that number when we plug our original numbers in and multiply those by each other. 2.4, 0.63, and if Emacs pulls through, we'll actually get that floating point number. Let's see. Oh, perfect. So you can see it works with any number, however many numbers you have to the right of the decimal, to the left of the decimal, it'll work. You just have to make sure that whenever you move the decimal to the right to turn your number into a larger number, you move it to the left with your ultimate product to turn it into a smaller number. So there you go, guys. That is a trick to help you multiply decimals more easily. It's really helped me, and hopefully it'll be helpful to you too.